Arizona Attorney General indicts 18 people. They happen to be Trump lawyers and other people who are in high positions in the Arizona GOP. And what a perfect time to launch an indictment just months before the election occurs. Why might they do it? Well, Arizona not looking so good for them in the polls. And so what's another lawfare campaign going to do to hurt their chances? They think that they can get a lot of leverage out of it. We'll see if that's true or not. But we've got the full indictment. We'll go through. We'll see what's inside. It's a very similar case to what we've seen in Georgia and other alternate electors charges. They keep calling them fake electors. We know that the proper terminology is alternate electors because the Democrats have done this in Hawaii. But who is this person who's behind all this? Her name is Attorney General Kris. She's basically the Arizona version of Letitia James. And rumors about whether she takes her shoes off in court are still out. We still don't know whether she does like Tish does or not, but time will tell. But she's somebody who is, like the rest of them, very much a Democrat and very much an anti-Trumper. She says that Joe Biden must get elected. She went and visited the White House, and of course the poll's not looking good for Arizona, so why not indict all of the Trumpers? Here is a clip from her before we get into the indictment itself. Who is Kris? Well, here it is. This clip comes over from our friend Greg Price on the X. He dug this one up with Kris over on MSNBC. They're all in favor of justice, but they all show up to talk about how badly they have to use their positions of power to prosecute Trump.
Well, as my colleague from Massachusetts just mentioned, we absolutely have to get President Biden reelected, because one of my fears is, despite the fact that, Republicans said they wanted to send this back to states for states to decide, I think there's a real movement in the sort of extreme elements.
All right, so hopefully you can wake up from her tonality there, but we have to get Joe Biden elected. She happens to be the Attorney General for the state of Arizona, has a lot of political and charging power in her position, and she is using it accordingly. Now, who may have prompted this? Where did this all come from? Well, she may have done some visitations with the White House. Here is what the Oversight Project has pulled up for us. It says, more White House coordinated election interference. Always go digging, you always find it. Kristen Mays showed up at the White House, and the appointment was made on the 14th. It started on the 18th, ended on the 18th. And visitee last name, first name. Let's see what's going on here. Or who are they visiting? Okay, so someone at the OEOB. Escobar, Analessi Escobar is the name of the probably woman that she was meeting with at the OEOB. Isn't that curious? Yeah, so once again, going to the White House to collude with them. Now, why is this something that is happening now? Well, maybe because Arizona is not going their way. Arizona is a pretty big battleground state, and this is what the polls look like from Nate Silver, Project 35. Trump's up 43 to 39. Kennedy's down at a 10% number there. And so why not indict a bunch of people? Look who these people are who they indicted. Total of 18 people. This is what the Arizona docket looks like. I took a screenshot from our court system earlier today, and it is still unpopulated. This case is still brand spanking new. They're getting everybody served, and we still don't see the names of the people who have ultimately been charged on the court docket, but we do know who their names are based on other reporting, and here are some of the people on the list. Rudy Giuliani, who's also already been charged, got indicted. Mark Meadows, basically the same people that we saw in Big Fanny's RICO case. Jenna Ellis, who took a plea deal on that one. She's already pleaded guilty in Georgia, and it's to a diversion deal, so it's going to go away, and she'll be totally exonerated according to Georgia law, but she still took a guilty plea and then, cried about it as she was trying to imprison Harrison Floyd. John Eastman also got indicted again. Christina Bobb as well, and Michael Roman. You remember him and his attorney, Ashley Merchant from Georgia, who was the person behind blowing the whole lid off the Fannie Nathan Wade hot dog scandal. So they all got indicted. The question is why. Couple ideas on how this lawfare impacts everything. It's a big, big problem, and it's free money. It's free effort. It's the government, right? The government's going to be there anyways. Cost the Democrats nothing to launch one of these things. It is useful for the politicians and their political spectacle. They want to raise money. What better time to raise money than going after Trump? And they're going to make this whole thing about democracy, right? So their profiles get elevated. They get to write more books, have more MSNBC appearances, all the things. And simultaneously, it's free. It costs them nothing. It's going to drain GOP resources, their time, their money. Everyone has to lawyer up. It's going to dissuade anybody from challenging 2024 when they rig it again like they did in 2022, when the day of voting, half the machines don't work in majorly red areas all around Arizona. Is anybody going to want to challenge them this next go round? Or maybe they'll be indicted again. Sidelining other GOP activists. Okay, not only the people named in this, 18 people who, as we'll see, are the heads of major, portions of the Arizona GOP, all going to be sidelined. And there's a political attack now opportunity on both levels. One on Republicans in general. They tried to steal our election. And then also on Trump, okay? You've already seen this little moniker around. Trump's an unindicted co-conspirator. It's a scary word. Everybody likes to say that. It's like, yeah, but he's an unindicted co-conspirator. You're like, what does that mean? He had some people who wrote an alternate elector effort like the Democrats have done. Okay. So those are the reasons why. Now, who else is on this list? Bunch of other people. Robert Montgomery, former chairman of Cochise County, the Republican committee, right? So, high up person in Cochise County, which is another county here. Gila County, Samuel Moorhead, Lorraine Pellegrino, former president of the Ahwatukee Republican Women, Gregory Safston, former executive director of the AZ GOP. Okay, so they're going after the GOP. It's not just Trump lawyers, it's Arizona GOP people. James Lehman tried to run for Senate, didn't win. Michael Ward, husband of Kelly Ward. Tyler Bauer from Turning Point USA, CEO, apparently got indicted. What? Senator Anthony Kern, member of the Arizona Freedom Caucus. Arizona Senator Jake Hoffman got indicted. Kelly Ward got indicted. Arizona GOP chairwoman, right? It's a lot of people. So these are all people, Boris Epstein, going after top performers, right? People who actually do things in Arizona in the election to take out their opponents. So we now know what's going on. Let's take a look at the indictment and we'll just see what's inside. We'll get the highlights of it. But you see, this is brought out by Kris Mayes, Attorney General from the state of Arizona. And it is in the Superior Court, Maricopa County. This is our big county. This is where Phoenix is. And this is our felony level court. And these are all serious felonies, class 2 felonies, which is basically the upper scale. We have murder higher than that, but that's it. We got Kelly Ward, who's got charged, and all these other people have now been named, but these names were not unsealed yet. And so we now know who they are. We just went through all 18 of them. And so what are the various charges? Conspiracy, class 2 felony. Conspiracy is for various offenses. They're all charged with this. It's going to be the same thing as the RICO case. Fraudulent schemes and artifices, which these are going to be false documents, right? False instruments for filings. You created a fraud by creating some documents. Count 2, same thing. Now, those names were redacted. So the first count looks like it's a general conspiracy count, right? And general conspiracy count, then in the other counts, they're going to give us the specific crimes. So fraudulent schemes and artifices. It is this one, fraudulent pretenses, preventing the lawful transfer of power by depriving Arizona voters of their right to vote. Okay. Now, here we go. Yeah, 2 certificates of votes. So the false writings now. Forgery. You were not actual alternate electors, so the certificate of votes is forged. Forgery, same thing here. Count 6. So all the different forgery charges. And every single document that they signed. 2 certificates of votes going to the archivist of the United States. This one's going to the federal court. Okay, so same things, but going to different locations. So this one went to the federal district court. This fraudulent document went to the archivist of the United States. This fraudulent document also went to the archivist. This is the Republican electors fraudulent doc. It's the same thing. So it's basically the Georgia case, all over again, not in a RICO format, but here is the rest of the indictment. In Arizona, United States, people so-called elected Joe Biden, and look at this one, unwilling to accept this fact, the defendants and unindicted conspirators like unindicted co-conspirator 1 prevented the lawful transfer, a scheme to prevent the lawful transfer of power to the new president. They deceived the citizens of Arizona, and Trump urged Pence to declare him the winner of the election, but that scheme failed. They give us some background on the presidential elections. We know happens first Tuesday of November. Trump ran for real. Just say his name. Put it in there. It says the Electoral Count Act says we have to follow what the states say. Kind of. They changed it all after the fact. Here are the people who got charged. Kelly Ward. She was the chair of the Arizona Republican Party, and she declared the Arizona Republican electors as the true electors and urged Pence to accept them. Tyler Bauer from Turning Point. It's like, wow. So they're going after Turning Point? Charlie Kirk? How dare they? After voting, Bauer made statements indicating he intended to have Pence accept the false electoral votes, and he did not withdraw his vote. Nancy Cottle, chairperson, Arizona Republican presidential electors, voted for Trump Pence as a fake elector. We would say alternate. The Hoffmans, Kearns, James Lehman, who has run for Senate here, Robert Montgomery, Samuel Moorhead, Lorraine Pellegrino, Gregory Safston, and Michael Ward. They also say that they attempted to declare Trump and Pence the winners of the election contrary to the law. Following is a brief summary of their roles. An attorney for unindicted co-conspirator 1, that's Trump, who is often identified as the mayor. I wonder who that could be. Rudy Giuliani had spread false information at Arizona Board of Supervisors meetings. This person was an attorney who encouraged Republican electors to vote and spread false claims. Maybe that's Christina Bobb, or maybe that was Jenna Ellis. Another one was an attorney and an advisor to Trump. So-and-so was blah, 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 was instrumental in creating this scheme. Another redacted attorney, also lobbied Republican legislators. And this was this is Mark Meadows. So this is Mark Meadows right here, was unindicted co-conspirator. He worked with members of the Trump campaign, and so they all got indicted. Sick. Now, unindicted co-conspirator, a former president of the United States, another one, former member of the Arizona legislature. It'll be interesting to see who all these people are when it ultimately comes out. Another attorney was unindicted for the Trump campaign, drafted memos, another unindicted co-conspirator. We'll see if they ultimately are indicted. Maybe they'll turn around and decide to indict them. We've seen superseding indictments before. So background, as the states continued to count votes, Trump would lose the election. And he said that, look at it's just a lot of language, speaking indictments, Arizona lawsuits. Trump campaign, Kelly Ward sent a text message that says, "What the heck?" and asked blank, "Are our lawyers in Arizona afraid of being blackballed by the left?" Yeah, if they get indicted, unfortunately. Kelly Ward sued all 11 Democrat Party electors, and the court dismissed the lawsuit. Kelly Ward appealed the case. There was pressure on election officials. We've heard from many of these people. Bill onesie twosie Gates, "We just got to fix a couple onesie twosies on our election systems and everything will be fine." What? Bill? What? Unindicted co-conspirators and others, they tried to contact supervisors, and Kelly Ward sent a bunch of text messages out. Tea Party Metro was out. All right, so there's a lot here. We're not going to read the whole thing here. You can see what it looks like. Bowers, here's Kelly Ward. She posted on social media talking about Rusty Bowers, right? She was putting pressure on him. Our election was rigged. Governor Doug Ducey at the end of 2020, Ducey was the governor. They called him. Trump posted a series of tweets berating Ducey for certifying our rigged election. So then there were discussions about the Republican electors, and the plan evolved through Trump campaign memos. Arizona congressional representatives texted various things. Numerous unindicted co-conspirators. There's a lot of language about unindicted co-conspirators in this indictment. It's very curious. Look at all these unindicted co-conspirators. Then the Supreme Court dismissed Texas versus Pennsylvania and just allowed the rigged election to march on. Trump made a bunch more posts. We lived through it. We're familiar with it. Jason Miller texted Justin Clark, White House attorney. Just got a call from Rudy. Says, working on this stuff. All right. So here's the full indictment, and it's just what it looks like. They're digging up all their social media, all their text messages. These were people who were engaging in an alternate elector plan, which was lawful and allowed. They even changed the rules and what Mike Pence is allowed to do as the president of the Senate, as the vice president. Okay, Michael Ward posted some stuff. "Hey, I'm on the phone with Trump. Proud to cast my vote as one of 11 legitimate electors for Trump." What a conspiracy. So he got indicted, a true bill by Arizona grand jury. And as we know, you can indict a ham sandwich. Even Judge Alito says, yeah, sometimes a grand jury won't actually indict, and sometimes we get eclipses as well. So it's exactly what it looks like. It's the same thing we've seen in all of the other alternate electoral prosecutions. These Democrats are not that intelligent, so they just copy and paste each other's homeworks. Okay, Michigan's investigating their alternate electors. Same thing's happening in Arizona. We're going to be here continuing to cover it, my friends. So thank you for subscribing to our channel and for liking this video. Thank you so much for inviting a friend or family member to come over here. Check out some of the work we're doing here together. We'd very much appreciate that. We also have our members only community at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We do member streams in the morning, 6 days a week. We'd love to have you join us, including on Saturdays. And so thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting our work. Thanks for coming and meeting some more amazing people over there. We'll see you there and back here on the next one.